this is James Davis from dailyfantasysportsrankings.com, and today I'm proud to unveil our new player lab for the NFL season. So those of you who are familiar with the FSR know that for a long time you've been able to come over and just click the calculate button and generate optimal lineups for FanDuel and DraftKings. And while those are great for 50-50s and double ups and contests where you're just looking for a mean projection, we wanted to create a new tool that allows you to tweak and toggle based on what kind of contest you're in and what your goals are for the week. So that's why we rolled the Player Lab out. So what does the Player Lab allow you to do? Well, the primary feature of the Player Lab is these filters and toggles on the top of the screen. So while at the base level you have the normal settings for the tool, you can come in and say, well, so today I'm actually playing in a 50-50 or a double up contest. So I want to prioritize guys who have some safety going. So at the quarterback position, that might mean I want a guy with a high completion percentage, maybe a guy in a game with a thin spread, maybe a guy who has a high projected attempt total, and so on. And then I can look and kind of use the eyeball test to figure out who passes that test for me. So, right away, Drew Brees looks like a guy who I'd be happy to have in my cash games. So this is like a tremendous way to basically sift a huge player pool to pinpoint guys who look like good plays for different kinds of formats. On the same token, I might want a guy who just has high upside, but I'm not as worried about, if he's going to blow up in a given game. So for that, I might want to say I want a guy in a game with a high over-under, and I look and say, there's only two guys that meet the qualifications for a high over-under in the first week. So for our system, the baseline is 49 points. By the way, this looks like a tremendous matchup. A spread of 1, over-under of 51, beautiful thing. But if I want a less restricted player pool, I can actually go in and change that toggle for myself. So maybe I want to include guys with a higher over-under than 45 for the first week, and you can see that expands the player pool quite a bit. I do like that thin spread metric. That allows me to get guys in games that rate to be fairly close. And now I see I've also got the Tampa Bay and Atlanta matchup, and I might be feeling pretty good at that point. So then I want to head over to other positions, right? So at the running back position, if I'm looking for upside, I might want guys with high red zone opportunities, guys who tend to get a lot of receiving yards, guys with high projected attempt totals, high rushing touchdowns. And again, if I see it'd be nice if I could play the two most expensive running backs in any given day. That might not be in the cards. So if I'm trying to dream on high upside, maybe I say, okay, I don't care if they've gotten a lot of red zone opportunities in the past. I just think they will this week for whatever reason. Maybe they haven't got a lot of receiving yards, or they haven't scored a lot of rushing touchdowns, or at least a lot of rushing touchdowns last season. And I look and I see my player pool starts to expand. I also might say, that's weird. The rushing touchdown things feels a little too restrictive too. Maybe I'll change that filter from guys who score half a touchdown per game to 0.3 touchdowns per game. So guys who just get in there eventually. And I can see that my player pool starts to pop wide open again. And so this is really a powerful option for people who just want to go through and again, just take a look at guys who meet certain criterion and who ought to be on your radar. And as the season goes along, there are a lot of cool trends that will start to emerge. So I don't know if I pointed it out, but at running back we've got this touch trends thing, which allows you to take a look and see if a guy is all of a sudden getting more touches than usual. So a good guy to target for that last season might have been like Danny Woodhead or Duke Johnson. Now the wide receiver, the wide receiver position, we can do the same thing. So we can say, all right, well, I really want some high upside wide receivers. I know that on a given week, that's where I can get a lot of my upside production. I've got guys with a poor defense versus pass. I want guys, again, in a high over-under game. And maybe I want guys who generally receive the ball a lot. Whoops, no one meets that criterion. So maybe I'm not as worried about the high over-under. I just want high receptions and a poor defense versus pass. And I see, hey, Julio Jones at Tampa Bay. He torched them a couple times last season. So maybe that's a good spot to target him again. So anyway, this is a brief run through on the Player Lab tool. And for those of you who prefer a little bit of simplicity, of course we still have our lineup optimizer, which allows you just to go in and do some other sorts of filtering. So you can still filter by games or by slates. You can do things like just trying to stack given teams and lock players, exclude players, and so on. and it all still works just the same way it used to. So yeah, it's two powerful tools. It's the same low price we always offer at $29.95 a month. And as always, if you have any questions at all, you can just reach out to me, James, at dailyfantasysportsrankings.com, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. But till then, folks, let's get it.